More phone calls coming up. 877-3DP Show. Good morning if you're watching on Peacock. That's our streaming partner. Derek Carr, former NFL quarterback and now a YouTube sensation. Pre- and post-game studio analyst along with Brandon Marshall and Tyrann Mathieu. And they did the Chiefs-Chargers. Hey, the reviews were really good. How comfortable did you feel as an analyst?
You know, it's funny. It was just easy because I got to break down film. I was like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and so I was like, don't make me get on here and talk a whole bunch. Just let me do some film.
But that's the thing, breaking it down. But then you're able to give it to us so we understand what's going on, because your language, quarterback's language and terminology, like sometimes even your brother yesterday when we had him on, he's telling me things. And I go, I'm not even going to interrupt. I have no idea what he's talking about.
100%. And so I always just try and keep it simple. Yes, I could get into so many details and hours of breakdown and all this kind of stuff, but for me, it was just like, how do I make it entertaining? And I learned from the best. Coach Gruden was like that every day. And so the way he would present film and present information, he's the best presenter of information I was ever around. So I just tried to, mimic what he did, and it kind of worked out.
What stood out when you broke down the Chiefs-Chargers?
What really stood out to me was Herbert. Like every time I would watch it, because I know the Chiefs defense, and I know Pat is one of the greatest to ever play the game. It's really fun to watch what they've been able to do, whether people are hurt or not hurt. But when I watch Herbert, he's been so consistent, and I know that feeling where you're on a team that keeps switching coaches on you, that keep doing this. It reminds me of when Coach Gruden showed up, and I hope that they get to stay together longer than I got to stay with Gru, because we were starting to take off. And so when I watch him, he's just so consistent, so accurate, and he's so tall. He sees everything. And so he's rarely fooled, which is really, really a luxury.
You start to look at these quarterbacks, and we see young quarterbacks make the same mistakes, because in college, you get to hold on to the ball a little longer. Players stay open a little bit longer there. They try to scramble out of trouble there. Why is that they keep it? It's new quarterbacks, but it's the same mistakes.
Yeah, there's no recipe for, you can, I'll say it this way, you can train them as much as you want, but when you have a red jersey on during OTAs and training camp and all that, it gets a little different when you get to practice or the real games. That it's just, there's no substitute for experience. And so I saw, we saw Cam Ward take a red zone sack and then get sacked again, and he's trying to outrun people. You find out real quick that the defensive tackles are faster than you, and so, it's tough, man. And like you said, you hit it on the head. The game is so fast. So it doesn't matter what level of college you play. The speed of the game for quarterbacks, it just happens faster. But, like you said, it takes guys hopefully a shorter amount of time, because our leash with quarterbacks nowadays is so short.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where they give you time to grow and all that, but hopefully these guys can figure it out soon, and it looks like they will. It looks like a good batch of young guys.
But, they talk about climbing up in the pocket, and that takes, you got to have guts, because it's chaos around you. But these guys don't want to climb up in the pocket. They want to try to dance around and get out of trouble. But what is that feeling like? That's the ultimate, I'm trusting my offensive lineman that I won't get crushed.
100%. I remember there was a year we started 2 rookie tackles, and in the NFL, that's a big deal. And I remember Gruden said to me, he said, "Look, it's gonna be rough, but when you hit that back foot, I want you to climb, and I want you to find a completion." And it trained me in such a way that you have to hit that back foot. You just got to make a decision, really, as a man, say, I'm going forward, because everything that we've been instilled in us is like, if something's coming at me, I got to get away from it. But you got to go forward. You got to climb. And, for me, that was one of the biggest learning moments, was playing with 2 young tackles, teaching them, hey, let them run by, lose one way, just don't lose inside. And we were able to figure it out.
I didn't know you did a Jon Gruden impersonation.
Honestly, everybody on those teams on offense can do it. Foster, Moreau, Waller, Hunter, everyone has a little, maybe we don't match it perfectly, but the tone, the cadence, we can all hit one part of it identically.
What's the tone that you hit?
Oh, man. For me, he would always look at me. So you'll love this, Dan. We're in a meeting, and he would always tell me, Derek, I want completions. I want completions. I want completions. So we're in a team meeting, and he says, hey, Carr, I want what? And I said, completions. He goes, No, I want communication, you idiot.
You idiot.
You idiot. Oh, it was great.
Derek and David Carr have a new podcast called Homegrown. Features both of the brothers discussing NFL, college, high school football from a quarterback's perspective. He said that he had fun with you about the Brady coming through Las Vegas to want to play for the Raiders and singling you out of, you're going to stay with this guy? Did you have fun with that?
Oh, I did. And I'll be completely honest, Dan, I had about 100 different funny things to say. I couldn't help myself. But I just felt like when I woke up this morning, like it just hit me like with everything that happened yesterday, not to get weird. I was like, man, it's not even worth saying any of them, man. I just want to love them. I could make a zinger and be funny about it. But like, I just, with everything that happened yesterday, it's just on my heart just to love everybody, no matter what, and I have none but love for Tom. He knows that, we've talked, many times. So, we did have fun though. We did, as brothers do, with those kind of things. But yeah, man, I just love on him, because I already knew I'd make some joke and someone wouldn't put the whole context on it and it'd be a thing. But it is what it is.
We want to come up with a stat: RCI, receiver caused interception.
Yes.
Right, because not all interceptions are made the same way.
100%. And you'd have to put a quarterback in charge of that because. There are times that it is our fault, absolutely. But there are times where you throw a shallow cross that bounces off someone's hands and you're like, what the heck? I remember I threw a pick. It was man coverage. Receiver didn't see it. And he stops and I go to throw the shallow cross like it's man and the corner keeps running and picks it off. And I was like, oh man, you got to keep running, but no one knew. And obviously you get booed and all those kind of things, which is fine.
How do you walk away from $30 million?
Oh my goodness. It wasn't easy. I promise. It's easy to make a comment and just say, yeah, it is what it is. But it was hard. It was really hard.
When you talk to your wife.
Yeah. When I talked to my wife, she was ready for me to be done whenever I was ready.
Okay.
That she's amazing. She saw honestly things that no one else saw, waking up on Monday mornings and I can't walk, waking up on Monday mornings and I have to call her to come in the room to help me get out of bed, so she was done. She was like, I'm good. 11 years is enough. But for me as a competitor and my love, honestly, Dan, I love the game so much. I just love football. I think it's great for character. I think it's great for everybody. I think it's team, it's unity. It's all the things I believe in. But to say no to the money part of it, I had to die to myself on that one. Like I had to be like, what's the right thing to do, all that, because on the inside you're like, well, it's easy. I'll just make that money and go. But it just wasn't right because I wasn't ready.
What's it like to be home this time of the year?
It's been really weird. Wednesdays in the NFL are the longest days. And for a quarterback, it's really every day. But, Wednesdays, I'm going on dates with my wife. She's like, you want to go on the date? I was like, yeah, let's go. It's Wednesday, and that's a first for us in a long time. And so it's been fun, though. I laid on my couch and my agent texted me. He's like, how you feeling? I said, I feel great. I'm not getting hit. So it was good.
Okay. But will there be a temptation?
Yeah. You know who my biggest temptation is David. Every single day he's like texting me. He's like, you see this? You see this? You know this? You know this guy? Hey, guess who texts me? He does it. He said, so we're gonna sit down. He said, we're gonna sit down on Thanksgiving. I said, bro, I'm retired. He said, at least give me Thanksgiving to try and convince you. So he's the biggest one.
There's no scenario where you'd come back.
I wouldn't say no, never, because I've learned that when I say never, it usually happens. And I think we've all probably learned that. So for me right now, I'm training because I love to train. Like that's going to be the rest of my life. I love to train. I throw a football every now and then out in the front with my kids and to my buddy, for fun, because it's part of my rehab still for my shoulder. I'm still just trying to get that back right from getting the shot and doing the rehab and all that. And so I'm still doing those things. And so I always felt like, even though I'm done, like, if God wanted me to do it, I got to be ready. I don't want to go out there and not be ready, so I'll be ready, but I'm not coming back like that. Like right now, today, I'm not coming back.
You're only 34.
I am 34. I got a lot of life. I got a lot, and I got a big job. I got to coach the 4th through 6th grade Clovis Christian Warriors. You know what I mean? So I'm committed to them right now.
How are they looking this year, Derek?
They're doing good. I'm out there yelling at my kids. One of them plays quarterback, the other plays receiver. So I imitate Gruden a lot to them for sure.
The two quarterbacks tonight, break them down from what you've seen.
You know, I'm really interested. This is what it's going to come down to. It's Thursday night football, right? Thursday night football to me has always been the test of who can get the healthiest and who can take care of the football. And I think both can. And if I'm honest, like I truly believe in them. And so I feel like it always comes down to a receiver or a tight end. In my experience, I'll never forget. You call a play and you thought it was last week's play, but you get it screwed up, and it's those little details. Troy Aikman talks about it all the time on Monday night. He's like, it's those little details that no one else will see. If they can take care of the football, that's the only chance that they have. Because in Thursday night football, it's usually a mess. I think we've all seen that. As players, we hated Thursdays, but it is what it is.
But have you ever gone to the line of scrimmage and called a play that was from the previous team that you were with?
Oh, especially right when you first get into it. Like I promise you, you get in the huddle and you're like, hey, we're gonna go, let's go dice right 358 can this, and then you're like, hey, and then you say on the quick, and everyone will look at you like, what do you mean on the quick? It's like, oh, sorry, wrong offense, wrong offense. Especially on a Thursday because it's all cramming in your mind. Luckily for Jaden and Jordan, this is the only offenses that they know, and so they'll be okay.
Did Peyton ruin it for all quarterbacks because now everybody's expected to go to the line of scrimmage and change the play, call the play?
When I watched Peyton, that's who I wanted to be. Honestly, Peyton knows this. I used to go to the stadium early when my brother would play him, and I would watch him throw to Marvin and Reggie and Dallas Clark and those guys. And growing up, I still believe that's the best way to play football. The coach is making an estimated guess based on study and film and what they know about these people, the defense coordinators. But the quarterback gets to see the test right in front of him. So if you can train the quarterback that way. So did he ruin it? I wouldn't say he ruined it, but that's how the game, I believe, is supposed to be played. But now with the CBA, these coaches don't even have time to teach the game like we did. It's so different. So now it's just flashcards. Hey, remember this flashcard and go do it at the best of your ability.
Good luck with the YouTube stuff. Good luck with the podcast with your brother, and good luck in retirement.
Oh, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. It's always good to talk to you.
That's Derek Carr. He played 11 seasons. He's only 34.